bird's eye view of spiritual laws of the world drama, validated by the science, that means physics as well as metaphysics. These are laws of spirituality derived from the word spirit, and all those are in single page. You give the bird's eye view of all spiritual laws of eternal world drama. This law of definition based on quantum physics, which defines the drama, which is nothing but predefined script and relation between the two actors, namely spirit and nature, and which defines that spirit or the soul or Purush controls the nature, is Prakriti. Then there is law of quality of the two actors. It's based on thermodynamics, the law of entropy, which says that quality of the actors is downgraded to both Purush and Prakriti based on the time. And the reason is that with respect to the time, vikar of the Purush is increasing, and that leads to the Prakriti, entropy of the Prakriti increases, and which leads to thermal death. So that could be the end of the drama. But then there is a law of eternity, so because the drama is eternal, that cannot be beginning or end, so it has to be a cycle. So for drama to become a cycle, the downgrade of the quality or the upgrade of the vikar has to become zero, so that suffering becomes zero, and that leads to nirvikari deterministic world, which there will be Vasuk, and that can only happen with the avtरण of the Paramatma, which is the metaphysics entity at a specific time, and that is what is the concept of the spirituality, because that would make the vikar zero, because the entropy can never become zero, and then only we can have a cycle. So this is the Paramatma avtरण depicted here, and then the cyclic journey of space and time are depicted. This is about the space and the first view, then there is a second view, and there is a third view of that, and then there is a view of journey based on the time, so that also defines what is in 5 yuga of the time, defines the definition of akarma based on sankalp, vikarma based on vikalp, and sukarma based on shrest sankalp. Because it is all because of the thought, because the energy of the spirit is in terms of the thought, and based on that, the concept of Raj Yoga is also being explained. These are the 4 laws, namely law of definition, Sattva-Tamo, law of the degradation of the quality, law of eternity, because it also cycle becomes Tamo to Sattva also, and then law of the journey. So let us talk about the law of definition. We'll talk about the interaction of the two actors in the young double-slit experiment. And the conclusion is that Sankalp controls the Sushti, or the conscious mind of the Purush controls the Prakriti as per this which-way observation. Then there is a delayed choice observation says that the script of the Purush actually controls the Prakriti, and that is also validated by the Libet observation, so which says that unconscious mind controls the conscious mind. That means that script controls the Prakriti based on these observations. So when EEG is taken, then there will, before action, there will be a conscious mind initiation, and then before that, there will be a initiation in the script. So that means it concludes that there is no free will, or everything is predetermined. And then with theory of relativity, we can define the concept of script, which says that time and space are related, Einstein's special theory of relativity. So the time is also a dimension. And then that is how the script is defined. Script is a word line, which is nothing but the point events, which are based on R with X, Y, Z, and T. So this is a 4-dimension. This is how the script is defined. So using the definition of the script, we'll try to interpret interaction of Purush and Prakriti. So the Purush, when is observing, the script of the Purush interacts with Prakriti. This is the Prakriti is in form of Schrodinger equation. So when there is interaction, that supervision, it always collapses. So that Purush changes the behavior of the Prakriti, and collapses and converts into energies, converts into the mass. So it is like tossing of the coin. So when it is in the air, it has all the 6 superpositions, and then when we observe, so we observe the 4. So that is one of the observations is sigma n, and this is the total waveform. So this is what is observed, and that is what is understood by the conscious mind. Where conscious mind can only understand the single state, it cannot understand the multiple states, and based on that, there will be a sankalp, and then we will see in the next law that it will also interpret the Srushti. And then there is a Vedic interpretation which says that only what we observe is the truth, and the energy is mithya. Then there is also Ashtavakra Gita interpretation. So that interpretation we will see in the next law. So this is the summary of this law, that Purush controls the Prakriti, the script of the Purush controls the Prakriti, and that is proved by the quantum physics. And we will see and we observe that Purush controls the Prakriti, so this A1 actor controls A2 actor, so that can come into the same axis of the quality that we will see in the second law of quality. So this law of quality, because Prakriti, we know that is energy, and that we will be studying using the heat engine, where quantity is constant, but quality or efficiency degrades. So it also goes from sato to tamo as with respect to the time. We will see the 2 cycles of the Prakriti, ideal, mean deterministic cycle, to real, mean non-deterministic cycle. And this is the ideal or cycle where there is, we'll assume that there is a lubrication, so everything is deterministic. And then we will see this is a real cycle. So this is, we will see this is irreversible state of the thing. So this is the 2 cycles we will study. Then, and why this quality is degraded, it is based on the concept of entropy. So when entropy increases, the efficiency reduces, and then it depends on the function of the external environment and as well as some internal environment. And we will see that quality can, if quality has to remain a constant, then entropy has to be reduced with respect to time. If entropy has to reduce, then time also has to be go back. But the law of entropy or the physics says that time cannot go back or time cannot become zero. And because of that, we cannot have any cycle. So that cycle is not possible as far as physics is concerned. So we have to resort to metaphysics. And then this journey from sato to tamo, or quality of degradation, is based on two parts. One is a linear or reversible thing, which is where this is this integral, the Clausius law, inequality. The DQT is zero. So that is what is the this is the law of cycle. And then process equation is entropy is dq by T, which is only based on the external thing. This is a process. So here the entropy we are like a point. So it is kind of a deterministic. This is how the efficiency is defined. And then so this efficiency, this is input, this is output. Because of this efficiency, because there is always exhaust. So this is input energy, there is exhaust. Because of this efficiency always will be less than 1, and there will be some work will be lost in exhaust. The real thing is that there is an internal friction in any heat engine that is makes it irreversible. Because of that, then process equality becomes zero. So because it's irreversibility, there is always going to be some kind of a leakage. And because of that leakage, the equation becomes, this is the external thing, and this is the entropy. Because of the leakage, the entropy is always increasing. So this becomes non-deterministic, because it becomes a path function. So this is the internal leakage, and then the efficiency is reducing. And then a time will come when TH becomes TC, the source temperature becomes sink temperature, efficiency becomes zero, and it will lead to thermal death. And so this is this entropy multiplied by the temperature. That is the exergy which is destroyed. So that may lead to thermal death. So this is the quality degradation. So process heat engine, the journey from ideal to the real, the journey has been depicted here. So as per the first law, quantity is constant, but the quality always deteriorates. And then we'll see that this Prakriti, so we have seen the entropy, the definition of thermodynamic entropy. From thermodynamic entropy, we will see the definition of statistical entropy, which is based on the probability. So it's based on the microstates. More number of microstates, it tends to, the Prakriti tends to follow that. But then there was a Maxwell-Damon experiment, and that hypothetically tried to disprove this theory of entropy. But then it was proved that this demon will have memory as well as processing power, and that memory and processing power, which is equivalent to a number of microstates, so this processing power, so that leads to the something concept called information entropy, and then information entropy leads to the processing by brain, and then that leads to purush, the soul. So this presentation proves that entropy of the Prakriti, increase of the entropy of the Prakriti is matches with the increase of the vikar or because of the body consciousness of the Purush with respect to the time. So there are this information, so there are more information with respect to the time, there are information layers, and these information layers, which is something equivalent to the binary search tree, so the more layers, and there is more vikal, and that is the reason there is a vikarma. So the vikar leads to the vikal, and that is all proved. The layer of the vikal is proved by this equation. Uh, H is equal to log 2n. N is an information or kind of the which is similar to Boltzmann equation with where the entropy is k of logarithm of the microstate. So that also is based on the decision theory. This thing is also proved. So once it is proved, that heat engine is equivalent to the souls with respect to time. This is equivalent is proved that your heat engine, we have external things like the source temperature and there is a sink temperature. The external thing source temperature is something with the soul charging, and the sink temperature, this environment is number of souls. So we can see that the soul power is reducing, and when number of souls, the environment, the number of souls are increasing, the powers of the journey. And with heat engine, there will be a heat, there will be heat energy, which is given to the engine, so which is nothing but that is scripts. So the scripts control the soul, and the heat energy, there will be some exhaust, and then remaining thing, there will be a work or there is karmic account. So this exhaust is nothing but the sankalp as far as soul is concerned, and that will become. But then when we go from the linear thing to the non-linear things, so when there is a that layer, that lubrication layer, when it peels off, then there will be a friction. So that friction that generates that we have proved that that friction is equivalent to Vikar. So here the script is a non-determinate. So the script is non-determinate script, so it is based on the Karm work. And then because of this Vikar, there will be exergy distorter, there will be Vikalp. So there is Sankalp, there will be Vikalp. And because of the Vikalp, there will be a Vikarm. So that Vikarm will be positive and negative. Here, because of the Prarabdh, because of lubrication layer, that karm will be 0. So this is the journey from script S to script B. So that nirvikari world to the vikari world. So that journey is depicted here. So this is the nirvikari world. So this nirvikari world, the script is based on accumulated different prarabdh, and this prarabdh is accumulated, and that is why the karma is 0. Here, when this lubrication is peels off, then this is a Vikari world. So this is the 2 yuga of the Vikari world. And then there's non-deterministic karma bhog, and because of this internal vikas, and because of this karma bhog, we'll have this vikarma. So this is vikalp, and then we have this vikarma. And then so based on the quantum physics, theory of relativity, and thermodynamics, this interpretation is further enhanced because this is the Purush. So the Purush generates the script, which we have seen the definition of the script. Then it interacts with 5 element as per the Schrodinger equation that get converted into superposition in the collapse of the equation, and we get psi m, and this is what is this is a single state which is understood by the conscious mind. Based on the conscious mind, that sigma it generates the sankalp, and based on this equation, because of the process inequality, where this is ds is equal to dqt plus d, this is based on external thing, and this is based on the internal thing. This is always generating. So this is the sankalp, which is generate the dqt, and then then this is the black layer. So because of this black layer, so this sigma m, it also generates vikalp, and then vikalp, and then it generates entropy, and which is always increasing. So this is what happens if dqt is less than 0. If dqt has been equal to 0, then there will not be any internal friction, or there will not be vikas, so the equation will be only upper part will be the equation. But because of the vikas, so this sigma will also generate sankalp as well as vikalp, and it generate dqt because of the external environment, and dsg because of the internal vikas. And because of this, so this is the dqt, which is equivalent to sankalp, and this is vikalp. So this is how it controls the prakriti. So this is how the prakriti is deteriorating, and this is the quality of the prakriti. The phi element is what is determined as per this equation. So the Purush Vikar controls the Prakriti entropy. So the quality of the energy is deteriorating even if the quantity is constant. So it is going from Sato to Tamo. And we have seen that entropy, the thermal information entropy. So we have tried to prove that through science. We have tried to prove that behavior of the Prakriti is similar to the behavior of the Purush, and actually quantum physics says that actually the Purush controls the Prakriti, but indirectly through science, we have tried to prove the reverse things also. So here we have seen that as per this diagram, this is the diagram. So it is going from, it will, as far as physics is concerned, it will go to the quality will go to minus infinity, but then that will be the end. But then we know that this is eternal. So eternal things are always, it is eternal. And because it is eternal, there has to be some metaphysics intervention. So that is Avtaran. And because of this Avtaran, uh, because of the cycle has to complete, it has come back to the x-axis. So this is why the red line. So this is by yoga, or we can say that because of the metaphysics things. So there will be critical mass of the souls. We'll have to generate the script S so that those souls will qualify to become part of the new world. So this cycle can either be completed through yoga, and then if that yoga the script is accumulated, then we will have the pralabdha in the form of, we'll again go back to the atomistic world, because that is what we are generating a lubrication layout. Or else there is another option is that by karma bhog. So this is by the karma bhog, and then this karma bhog is this black layers, and then is by the karma bhog is we'll see this cycle here. So this is the cycle. So we'll see theory of relativity, special theory of relativity, general theory of relativity is trying to define the script, whether it is a line or a circle. So this is a block universe or linear or circular line. So, so this Einstein block universe. So this is past and the future, and we'll see that the block universe is a linear or it could be a circular. So there is a script, but it can be a linear or it could be a circular. So if it is linear, so there is a straight line, the things are happening. But if it is universe, and then we can say there's nothing new. So that also specific theory says that it can be a nothing new, so it could be a script, could be a circular. Then there is a special theory of relativity where you see the world line is a straight, but because of the gravity of the mass of the world, so this is a general theory of relativity is that world line will become curved. So gravity is not a force, so it is kind of a curve. So this is curve. So if it is world line is curved, so it tends to complete the circle. So that also we say that script can be could be the linear. And and if it has to be linear, when science says that script has to be a linear, then it has to be based on the law of incarnation, Avtran. So that law of incarnation is nothing but the two souls in the one body. So that this is the incarnate soul. So this is the incarnate soul of the Paramatma. It's like same as the incarnate soul of the Dharmastapa. So this is the work of the purity. So the pure soul has to come incarnate. And that is how the law of incarnation. So based on this law of incarnation, so the Gyan in Yoga is being taught, and so that Vikar can become zero. And then if the Vikar can become zero, so, so this is what is full of the Param Purush to Gyan in Yoga. Make the Vikar zero by Karma Bhog or by Raj Yoga, that we have seen that by the black line as well as the red line. And this is the time of the settlement, and then becomes, because the Vikar becomes zero, the entropy becomes zero, the T becomes zero, and then we can have a cycle. So one is where the karma group, the theory is action is opposite equation, but there could be a delay. So that is law. And because of this karma book, there is always be a law of diminishing utility. So this is Indriya Sukh, the karma. So this is always temporary. So the law of diminishing utility. Another concept is through Raj Yoga. So when through Raj Yoga, we see that we can communication with God based on theory of electromagnetic wave. So if you have a concentration of the mind and intellect, so this is almost like a concept of telepathy. We can interact with God. Then, so this is Raju can be experienced by the communication with the God. It can also experience the Atindriya Sukh, which is based on the theory of the resonance. So where our frequency and soul frequency and supreme soul frequency matches, we can experience that. Then we'll experience the change in the sanskar, so based on the concept of the focus. So with the concept of the focus, with sunlight, we can say that paper is born. So this vikar it's reduced, and then Q is increasing, and that is why space is reduced, because Q vikar is reduced, so Q is the denominator is Q is the resilience, so that resilience increases, and that is why our stress is reduced. So this is the equation of space is equal to pressure divided by resilience. And there is a quantum entanglement. So if you interact with God and if it is a constant entanglement with Sada Shrestha Sankalp, so this is Sada Sukhan. So that means the quantum entanglement, the concept of the quantum entanglement, and then there is the conscious mind, which has only 10% of power, can control the subconscious mind. Based on the conscious mind, we'll have a knowledge. Based on this knowledge, we can remove the sanskar or vikar of the subconscious mind, and that is the of the spirituality. And so this is the theory of relativity says it could be a cycle, and because Uttara of the Param Purush, we make Vikar zero, and then that is why, and this is what is the actually spirituality. Spirituality actually is based on metaphysics phenomena and is based on the time. Now, we've seen this, the Rama is eternal, so we will now talk about cyclic journey. This is the fourth law, that is a cyclic journey. The cyclic journey of the souls through three worlds. So you will see the cyclic journey, the law of cyclic journey of world drama. So this is the total cycle. This is the Yug, Gold Yug, Silver Age, Copper Age, Iron Age, and this is the Diamond Age, where there is an incarnation of the God. This is the soul world. This is the human world. There is a interaction of the soul world and human world. So this cycle is explained. Another view of the cycle, there is a soul world. This is why it is angel world. This is green is human world. This is the universe with star and time, and this is the angel world. And this is the boundary where the law of so human world and universe, the law of entropy works. So that is what science, and that is why if there has to be a cycle, so something beyond the world, so beyond this, the soul has to come and interact. And that is how we can get this cycle. And then there's a third view of the space and time. So what this is the soul in the soul world. We'll have the two script, the soul conscious script and the body conscious script. Soul conscious script is like a product. So based on this script, we could see that you can see that the lubrication layer, it layers of the Q is reducing. And then once the script B is executed, it's like friction. So the black layer, the Vicar is executed. So because the Q is even further reduced. And then you can see that Q is further reduced. So here the Q is reducing. Once there is Avtaran of the Supreme Soul, which is nothing but the soul with Q is infinity and where the frequency is zero, so it is able to charge and you will discharge this. So this script, this vikar is reduced and this script is generated or prarabdha is generated and then this is generated. So this becomes the original and it goes back. So this is how the cycle. But then there are two options. It's one by yoga and another is by bhog. In the bhog, so this is the vikar is by action and reaction, right? Both this vikar gets reduced. So there is no, the script S is not generated. So only critical mass of the souls will have the script S is generated and the script S is not generated. So this also shows that the Q is, it shows the Q, which is quality of the soul, which is Gyan, Pavitata, Shanti, Prem, Kushi, Anand, and Shakti. So this quality of the soul is reducing and then this is increasing. That also is the cycle. So this is how the law of quality or this is the law of cycle is explained here. And then we will see this is the law of time. So 5 yug, how the cycle goes from Akaram, Vikaram and Sukha. So here, here we have seen that last law of the interpretation, Brahmasmi. Here, what we are saying that interpretation is that what truth is, as per Brahmas, is only Q. That is what is the only truth, and that vikar is not truth. So that is wrong interpretation of the Ashtavakra Gita is wrong. It doesn't recognize this the vikar, and we know that the cycle is because of the vikar, and Paramatma comes to remove this vikar. So this is the interpretation of this, and let's see the cycle. So once there is avtaran of the Paramatma, so we have seen that this is a karma. So this two yug, there will be this is the akarma layer comes, then there is because of the body consciousness, the vikar starts generating. So we have the vikarma, because the soul comes. So there are two options. One is by yoga. So yoga is by you to become a God conscious. There will be purusharth. So then we will generate the shreshth sankalp. Then there will be a sukarma here, and then this shreshth sankalp. So instead of this, here there is a sankalp, here there is a vikalp, the exhaust is vikalp, and here there will be a shreshth sankalp. So this is what is a shreshth sankalp is there, and because of shreshth sankalp, there will be a sukarm, and then it will be generating a script S. So the script S is generated, and then only we can have, so we can go to the nirvikari world, and then we can enjoy the sada sukh. So that is script S is there, and otherwise there is a book, so there is no script will be generated, and then again the cycle, it will be a uh, cycle is completed. So this is the total cycle of the youth of the golden, silver, copper, and iron age, and this is the diamond age. So this is called incomes in the diamond age, and this is how through yoga we can critical mass will become sato to tamo to sato, and this is how there is akarma, vikarma, and sukarma. So only if you do the sukarma, then that prahlad will become the akarma. This is what is spiritual. This is how the time cycle has been explained. And then, so this is the cyclic journey of soul through space and time. So you explained this, and based on this time, so we will see. So here there is emotional health. This is energy body, which is a Q plus Vikar. So combination of Q plus Vikar, which we have seen. So this is, and and then this can be made flexible by Raj Yoga. We can remove the Vikar. So by that we'll increase the Q. So because of that, is based on the Gyan means food, and based on the yoga with exercise. So what will happen that even in pain, so based on the karmic account, because that suffering will be zero. And because why? Because of that, there is a frequency, because we are interacting with God, the frequencies of there is a charging, and we are generating the script as or pralad. Because of this pralad, so there will be, in spite of the suffering, there will be happiness because of the positive thoughts based on this pralad. And this is how, because this is emotional health. So this is this is the this is the Raj Yoga, so self-control, and the yoga is to connection of the God. And the idea is that unless not like we do not have to become pujari, we have to become a pujya. So rather than bhakti, we are, mala, we jump, so we become, but instead of that, we have to become the manka of the mala. That is the objective, and that is That summary is here the cyclic journey, and ultimately this that is what is the spirit, which has a spirit has energy of the spirit is a thought, and that is how the spirituality is defined, which is based on the time. So what is it in Nirvikari world? We have seen that there will be sankalp. So because we are become a soul conscious, and then what we are executing is script as the pralabdha is executed. This is automatically the second. In Vikari world, because the script test is already exhausted, so because we are in body conscious mode, so there is a karmic account, so there is a pain, and then we suffer because of the pain, so that also happens automatically. But in the diamond world, so here, so this is the nirvikari world, this is the vikari world, and then this is the in the diamond age or in the sangam yuga, when we are doing through the yoga. So in spite of the karmic account, we will generate the Shreshth Sankalp, and that only happens if you are a God conscious. So we are generating the script test, and only if we generate the script test, we will be able to go to the Nirvikari world. So this is the diamond age is nothing but the time of the settlement. And so the souls are qualified so that in spite of the pain, the suffering is zero. And that is what is the Purusha. This is what we have to do, that Purusha. And this is what is the spirituality. So here the spirituality is a thought based on the time. So by default, we'll have a Sankalp. By default, we have Vikalp. Only thing is that in this time, if you recognize that there is Paramatma and we do Raj Yoga, we can, with Gyan and Yoga, with yoga, we'll remove our vikas, and then only it is possible to have a Shreshth Sankalp always. It's kind of a quantum entanglement. Then we will be able to generate this curve. And this is what is the effort. This is what is all about uh, spirituality.